All right, so we know what we have to do now. We're going to have to work on division. And so we're going to build our way to division with decimals in two different ways. So first, let's say we're dividing by a whole number. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the decimal point directly above the decimal point in the dividend. And then divide as we divide as in whole numbers. Of course, something special will happen with remainders because we won't need remainders with decimal places. So let's look at this rule in practice. Again, let's come here. Let's take 11.8 and we're going to divide it by 2. So this is a whole number, so our decimal point stays here. So 2 can't go into 1, but it can go into 11 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to bring down my 1, bring down my 8. 2 goes into 18 9 times. So 9 times 2 is 18, and we're done. We hit 0, we're done. And so because this is a whole number, we can put the decimal point straight up above it. Let's look at another division with a whole number. So let's say 219.2, and we're going to divide it by 8. So the decimal place goes directly above. 8 can't go into 2, but it can go into 20 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16. I'll subtract. That gives me 5. Bring down my 9. 8 goes into 9 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. I'll subtract, and I'll bring down my 2. 8 goes into 32 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. And I have no remainder, and I'm done. Let's do one that has no whole numbers in it. Oops. Let me undo that. Scroll down. So if I take 0.6 and divide it by 4. So bring the decimal point directly over because it's a whole number. 4 goes into 0 times. 4 goes into 6 once. 1 times 4 is 4. Hey, I'm out of numbers. But the nice thing about decimals is I can grab as many zeros as I want. So I'll create another 0 and I'll bring it down. 4 goes into 25 times. So 0.60 divided by 4 is 0.15. And the nice thing about decimals is we can keep grabbing zeros if we need them. Well, if we're dividing by a decimal, we have to do something else. So the first thing is we move the decimal point in the divisor until it is a whole number. We're going to want to count how far we move it. and we move the decimal point in the dividend dividend, not dividend. In the dividend, the same number of places. And then we divide as before. So let's see this play out. Let's divide 6.888, or 6 and 888 thousandths. We're going to divide it. We are going to divide it by 2.8, or 2 and 8 tenths. So my first step is to move this over 1, because now it's a whole number, 28. But I have to move this the same number of places. So now my decimal place is here. And now I can do my division. So 28 goes into 68 2 times. And 2 times 28, 6, carry my 1, 56. So I'll subtract 2, 1. And I'll bring down an 8. Well, 28 goes into that. Oh, 5 will be too much, but 4 will get us there. So 4 times 8 is 32. Carry my 3. 4 times 2 is 8 plus the 3. And continue my subtraction. 6 and 1. And now I'm going to bring down my 8. And let's see. It's not 7's too large. 6. So 6 goes into 8 48 times. Carry my 4. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 4 is 16. I've reached 0. And I'm done. So we move the decimal place over. We count how many places it's over. And we do the same thing here. Well, dividing has a similar thing with powers of 10. So if I have 456.2 divided by 10, well, that should make this smaller, and it's 1 power of 10. So I'm going to move the decimal place 1 to the left. And so this becomes 45.62. If I do the same thing, but I'm going to divide it by 1,000, well, I have 3 zeros, so I'll move it 3 to the left. And so this becomes 0.562. So let's do a couple more of these so we get used to dividing by powers of 10. So if I divide by 1,000, I have 3. So I'll move 3 decimal places over to the left. 1, 2, 3. So I get 0.5486. 0.68 divided by 10. I have 1 0. So I'm going to move 1 over to the left, or 0.068. I moved 1 over to the left. So powers of 10 are nice because they shift the decimal place around. Decimals also sometimes come out of whole number answers instead of fractions. So let's look at this. If we have a bag of fertilizer can cover 1,250 square feet. And Tim has a lawn of 14,800 square feet. How many bags of fertilizer does he need? Well, what we want to do is each bag is going to divide into the larger number. Now notice we have no decimal places yet. But we know that we can think of the decimal place separating the whole number from the fractional part. So we'll put the decimal place there if we need it. And so 1,250 can't go into 1, can't go into 14, can't go into 148, but it can go one time into 1,480. So I'll multiply this back out, and I'll subtract 0, 3, 2. And I'll bring down my next 0. Well, multiplying this by 2 would be 24, so it has to be 1 again. So I'll multiply back through 1,250, and I'll subtract. And I'll bring down my next 0. Now we're getting close, I think. Let's see. 104. 9 would be too big, so let's try 8. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry my 4. 8 times 2 is 16. Let's see. Plus the 4, so that's 20. Carry my 2. 8 times 1, that gives me 10. So now I want to bring down 400. I'm going to bring down another 0. Let's see. 3, 4, 5. 5's too big. It's 4. And so 4, 0. 0, carry my 2. 0. 4 times 0, 0. 4 times 5 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus the 2, 0. 4,000. So I have a remainder of 0. So he's going to need 11.84 bags of fertilizer. It's probably best if he buys 12 bags. Right? I've never bought a 0.84 bag of something at the store. And so this is how we divide decimals. We will continue on our study of decimals and what we can do with them. And we're going to look at order of operations with decimals. And the nice thing is there's no new rules for that. So we'll do that in the next video.